Hello, Bay Ridge. Welcome to another edition of After Hours. Today I wanted to take just a few minutes to talk about the importance of in-person relationships, actually being in each other's physical presence. This Sunday we looked at the importance of community, how much the church is called to be a community, and what that looks like in our life. But today what we're facing is a lot of digital relationships. This is something that has been building in recent years, but COVID kind of put into hyperdrive. And like many things else, other things, COVID didn't really completely change everything as much as it did magnify and intensify trends that were already happening. And one of those is a move towards digital relationships. And again, as I said regarding a lot of technology, it's not that this is all good or all bad. But there are problems, and that is that we were not created for digital relationships. We were actually created for in-person, face-to-face relationships. Now, why do I say that? I'm going to go back kind of to a little bit of the points that I made in the theological part at the end of the teaching on Sunday, to give reasons why I say that we're made for in-person relationships and not just digital, across video or texting or that kind of thing. Number one, in creation. Notice that as humans, we were created as body and soul, and both are critical. So there's much today. There are many, technological gurus who think the only part of us that is important is our mind, as they call it. And some of them actually call our body things like, wetware and stuff like, we are a mind in a vat. These are phrases that have been used, that our body really doesn't matter, but actually our bodies do matter. They are essential to everything we do. And so anything that reduces the place of the body is actually inherently going to have some dangers and some problems. And so disembodied virtual relationships can never be equal to physical relationships. They're just simply not the same. And while the virtual can supplement, if we were completely honest, none of us would say, well, I want to be married to somebody, but we only see each other through a computer screen. Or that, I have my closest friend, but we're never actually going to be around one another. We realize there's something that is different when we're together, and that's because the way we are created, body and soul, our body is important, and so physical proximity is an essential part of relationships. Secondly, again, the incarnation. Notice God takes our humanity so seriously that He took human flesh to work out our redemption. He didn't just come to save our spirit, He came to save us body and spirit, that all of us matters to God. Incarnation was necessary for our salvation because we are flesh and blood beings. So our flesh was essential to who we are, and it's an essential part of our salvation. And we need to think incarnationally. That means we need to let that shape the way we view all of life. Because Jesus took flesh, and notice that He's maintained that flesh even in His resurrected and ascended state. The scripture is quite clear. He is still in a human body. And that means that, again, we have to take our bodies seriously. For all of eternity, we are going to have a body. And so it is never non-essential. And anything that gets between that face-to-face is always, by nature, going to degrade the relationship. Now, this again does not mean that we should say, well, then I won't ever have anything to do with any kind of technologically mediated relationships. Today we think of, you're actually watching this by technology. We listen to things, we do phone conversations, we text. But actually, even old days when you wrote a letter, paper and ink, that was a relationship that was being mediated by technology. And those things are a blessing to us. Much of our New Testament came about because of that. So it is not that digital relationships are not real relationships, but they can only act as a supplement. What we should always be longing for is the actual in-person, face-to-face. There's a Bible verse that actually teaches this very clearly in 2 John, the second letter that John wrote. in verse 12, there's only one chapter, it's chapter 1, verse 12, John wrote this: I have much to write to you, but I do not want to use paper and ink. Instead, I hope to visit you and talk with you face to face, so that our joy may be complete. He repeats almost this exact phrase in 3 John verses 13 and 14 of that letter. Both short letters, but he ends both of them with the same statement. I'm writing to you, but I got other things that I want to talk to you about, and it's important. I don't want to do them by letter. We need to get back together, and we need to do this face to face. Now, the letter is there. It's technology in their day. If he would have had the availability, he'd have probably made a video like I've done here. But notice, it can't replace face to face. It can supplement it, but it can't replace it. Technology, always. When you move from a text to an email to voice to a video like this, you're moving up, and each of them are becoming a little bit fuller and richer. But even this video, as it were, is flat. It is still 2D, if you will. It's not three-dimensional, it's two-dimensional. Face-to-face relationships are three-dimensional. They're full-orbed. We're together. So much of our communication happens in a non-verbal manner. And there are even cues that don't quite come across on a screen like this. Being in each other's presence makes it so much fuller and richer. So notice what he says, that I want to do this so that our joy can be complete. There is a level at which our joy via virtual relationships tops out. There's a level of blessing that tops out. So I'm grateful for things like we've got like live stream. It's good that we've got that. When Linda and I have been on the road, we've joined in by live stream sometimes, but it can't replace being in person, gathering together. So I'm glad we've got the live stream, but I want to encourage you, if you're hearing this and you're not gathering in person, if there is any way, I want to encourage you to gather in person. We have some folks who are, going through cancer treatments or things and can't take the chance being around people. Fully understand that, but that is not most of us. For most of us, we need to gather in person because we want full joy. We want full blessings, and it requires in-person relationships. So I want to encourage you to do that. And with your close friendships, don't just try and survive by text or phone call. Those are great. They're a nice supplement. I'm glad we've got them. Linda and I text many times, throughout each week, but they can't replace face-to-face communication. I'm so grateful that with my wonderful wife, we get to be with one another physically present, not just through a mediated means. Brothers and sisters, that's what you and I want to do with one another. Life is fuller and richer when we are together, not by digital means, but actually in person, face-to-face contact. Hope this is encouraging, and I hope it helps you. And I look forward to us gathering this Sunday in person. And as I said this week, I want to encourage you. Come early and stay late. You'll find deeper, richer blessing as you do so. Have a great week. God bless.